Hello everyone, welcome to Unshackling Sudokus and Puzzles. Today's video will be not on any Sudoku or puzzle, but it will be a talk-up of the Indian Sudoku Championship 2024 that was concluded last weekend. What a wonderful and fun two-day event that was. We had posted a community post and many of you had voted in favor of hearing a talk up on the Indian Sudoku Championship 2024, and I plan to do on that. So I've never done a talk up on any event, although I've covered an event in terms of writing, but not a talk up. So it will be new for me as well. I'll try to keep it as interesting as possible, show you some images of the venue, share the results of what happened and my thoughts on the Indian Sudoku Championship as well. So please stay tuned. And if you're interested in this video, I'll think about doing Indian talk up on the Indian Puzzle Championship later. Maybe Ashish will do. I'll ask him. Let's see. So on to the event now. The event happened on 11th of August. It was actually a two-day event. On 10th of August, we had the Indian Puzzle Championship. And on the 11th of August, we had the Indian Sudoku Championship. So I arrived at Bangalore on 9th of August. I went directly to the venue of the event, which was Rialto Hotel. That was where the event was conducted. I'll show you the hotel now. So you can see here, it's a nice looking hotel. From the outside, always things look good, but of course, even the inside was really good, and it could potentially be a place for future events. The only thing I have against the hotel was that the bathtubs were really dirty. The rest of the things were fine. The plumbing, the sinks, water, everything was fine. But only thing, the bathtubs were dirty looking. That really needed some polishing work. And if that is done, this is really a perfect hotel for holding more such events in the future. So you can see the hotel here. It's really nice, and there are some good locations to eat nearby too. So this was where the event was conducted. So I stayed with Ashish here. The rooms were on dual sharing basis, and many of the participants had also booked rooms on dual sharing basis. So it was nice to see Ashish after a year. We met last on the Indian Sudoku Championship of last year, and it was nice to meet with him again. We discussed several things. We solved a few Sudokus, and then the nights were filled by playing board games with many other friends. So it was really interesting and nice to catch up with friends and play stuff. So now let's move on to the instruction booklet, the actual event. I'll just open a new window here. Indian Sudoku Championship. This is the results. So let me open the IB here. Okay, ISC instruction booklet. I hope this window gets captured. Let me check after it opens. Yeah, it is getting captured. Hold on, guys. It's just loading. Yeah. So this is the instruction booklet of the Indian Sudoku Championship. There were 4 rounds throughout the day. You can see round 1. The round 1 of any event is always, classics. And then round 2, you have some variants. The round 2 is called the usuals. And round 3, it's aim for the target. It was a single round. The whole round is focused towards solving a single activity. It's not like different Sudokus. It's like a single activity as a whole you have to complete. And round 4 is called the unusual, and there are variants like arrow, thermo, and bun. In fact, actually there was a query in our Discord group from one of the participants. Why is it called the unusual? Because many of the variants are mostly familiar to regular solvers. So actually I'll cover it when I do a round based breakup. Right, when I do a round based breakup, I'll cover it why it was called the unusual. So on to round 1. So before I begin, I'll talk a little bit about what happened before the round started. In all these championships, the Indian Championship, the World Sudoku Championship, I always plan on having a light breakfast, because what happens is if you have a heavy breakfast, during the rounds, first 2 rounds, you always feel really foggy and heavy. Your brain doesn't work fast. You think slowly, it doesn't happen. But the thing is, you're getting to experience this wonderful spread, particularly in World Sudoku Championship. If you see, it will be English breakfast with a lot of croissants, desserts, and breads. The moment you see that, you feel like dumping all of those things inside, and that's exactly what happened. I had a heavy breakfast, and I always plan to have a light breakfast during the competitions, but unfortunately I don't. I get tempted by the food and I give in to my cravings. So I did have a heavy breakfast. I went to the competition hall, sat down, and slowly the participants started coming in, and it was during this time somewhere that I think Ashish or Prasanna gave me the Sudoku fun gift. It's like a, I think Prasanna gave it. Yeah, it was an A3 paper on which multiple grids were present. It was not part of the event, but just a fun Sudoku gift. So I thought I'll do that later because it looked big. And before the rounds usually begin, classics or any round, I just solve maybe 2 or 3 Sudokus because I feel that it always keeps me in touch, sharp during the event. If I right away jump into the event, I don't feel fast enough. I'm not that kind of solver who just blazes his way right at the start. I just need some Sudokus to get in touch, sort of to catch the momentum, you can say. So I solved a couple of classics from Ashish's Classic Sudoku book, which was called Amazing Classics. And it has all the Sudokus tests solved by Kota himself. So I solved a couple there. And right at that point, I felt that I wasn't solving good. Maybe it won't go great. That's what I was thinking, because usually I feel I have a good touch just by solving 1 or 2. That day I felt that something is slightly off. So anyway, after doing this, when the round 1 started, so as we can see here, there are 10 classics here. Usually in these sprint rounds, where the duration is 30 minutes or less, the classics will be easier and also you have to sprint through them. And I'm not a sprint kind of solver, right? I always take some time to gather speed, and even though I solved a couple of classics before the round started, I still didn't feel at my best, and I started from the reverse. Usually in competitions I start from the reverse order. That means most of the times I tackle the higher pointers, because the higher pointers are usually at the end and the Sudokus are arranged in increasing order of difficulty. So I got the 10th classic and the 9th classic done in about 7.5 minutes. I looked at the timer. It was at 22.5 minutes, I thought. Don't remember exactly. The timer was started from 30 minutes countdown timer, and at 22.5 minutes I finished both the high pointers, and I thought this was a really good start, because if you calculate in terms of number wise, it's it's exactly 3 minutes per Sudoku. So to finish 100 points, which is 1/3 of the round, in about 7.5 minutes, I would take that any day. So I thought I'll finish through it and breeze through it, but the real challenges started. Sudokus 8, 7, 6 and 5. Boy, were they hard or what. They really messed up my show. I was feeling too slow through them. Somehow I waded my way across them as well, and then I went on to Classic 4 and Classic 3. At that point, there were about 12 or 13 minutes left, I think. Not 12. It was exactly 10 minutes left for the 4 classics. So I got through the Classic 3 and Classic 4 in 7 minutes, and there were 3 minutes to go for Classics 1 and Classic 2. So I thought I'll finish a classic shot here, because 3 minutes, unless you are like really at the top of your form and you're really good at classics, very difficult to do at towards the fag end of a round to get 2 classics, and that too with just 3 minutes. But fortunately, Classic 1 was all about writing singles. It was dead easy, guys. It was dead easy. So I think I finished in about 40-45 seconds. I quickly wrote through the numbers and I saw that I still had more than 2 minutes. I was happy because 20 pointers usually can be done in about 2 minutes or less than 2 minutes. So I started quickly putting the numbers and I finished the round with about 30-40 seconds to go, right? So which means I took about 2 minutes for Classic 2. Not 2 minutes, yeah, around 1 minute 40 seconds to 1 minute 50 seconds for Classic 2. And I quickly turned the paper in to Ashish was that side. Actually, because the timer was having less than 1 minute, I should have checked. The bonus is calculated for every minute saved. So if you save a minute, you get 10-point bonus. If you save 2 minutes, 20-point bonus, and so on. Since I had under a minute left, I would not have got any bonus. So I could have took that time to check some things, but it was adrenaline getting in, and then I just turned the paper very fast to Ashish. So after the round, I understood that unfortunately I had broken Classic 7. We didn't receive papers until after round 2. So after round 1, I didn't know that I had made an error, but I hope that all the classics stick to being true without breaking. So anyway, these are the results. I hope it's visible. Let me maximize a bit. So as you can see, I finished first in the Indian Sudoku Championship. I hope all names are visible. I want all names to be visible. Yes. So in round 1, I scored 265 points out of 30, and that was because of the 35-point error in one of the Sudokus. I have no idea why I broke that, and it was not even a minor fix. There were some 7 or 8 digits. If you call that minor, maybe, then yes, 7 or 8 digits that were incorrect. So somehow I'd solved that Classic incorrectly. And Nityant, who is a really good solver from India, he also won the Best Newcomer Award in the World Sudoku Championship 2022 at Poland. He finished at 266 points in round 1. Actually, he turned up his paper with, he gave in his paper with 2 minutes left on the clock for 2-minute bonus, but unfortunately, he also made a really silly error. Probably left one of the cells blank, and because of that, he lost points for the Sudoku. However, because it was a minor error, he got partial bonus, and he sat pretty at 266 points. Prasanna, who is the best solver, arguably the best solver from India in terms of puzzles and also at Sudokus, he finished at 275 points. He usually doesn't do so well in classic rounds, fumbles in them at the start, but he did really good here. Just finished one classic shot and he topped the round with 275 points. Good job from him. And notably, you can see among others, I think 200 was the highest, and that was by Karthik. So good show by him. And even Puar has also done well with 200 points, and he's only 14. He's only in 8th grade, right? That's too young to solve, but still he has done well. Anyway, that was about round 1. So let's look at round 2 now. It started after a quick 10-minute washroom break. So round started. You can see that it has a really good collection of variants: diagonal, irregular, pointing evens, little killer and crop key pairs, killer, odd even bound, skyscraper, XY differences. Most of these variants we would have covered sometime or the other in the channel. So I was confident about this round. There was nothing really intimidating looking except perhaps for the little killer and crop key pairs. But again, I had solved 2-3 little killer crop key pairs from Akar's book, the World of Sudoku Volume 10. So I was confident that this round I can get hold of and do well. But this round was the worst of all the 4 rounds. At least relatively, this was the worst round because I fell short by at least 100 points of what a par score would be like for my level. Anyway, so I started this round really well. I started with the killer Sudoku. I finished it. I went to the diagonal Sudoku. I finished it. Then I quickly settled for skyscrapers, grabbed these 50 points. Then I went to XY differences. I did that. Then I looked at odd even count. It was looking really tough. So I left it and decided to come look at it only at the last because I knew that it would take time for me. So I wasn't even going for that. I finished the irregular 45 pointer, which was also easy. Then I started the pointing even Sudoku. And by this point, 38 minutes were exhausted, and I had got diagonal, irregular, killer, skyscraper, XY differences. So that was about 340 points. So you will see that that is ultimately the points that I ended up with. Can you imagine? 38 points, 340 points, 38 minutes, 340 points, and last 22 minutes just turned out to be a disaster show for me. So exactly what happened is, pointing even in this pointing even Sudoku, let me take the variant. Pointing even, so you can see here, is the window visible? Let me quickly check. Yeah, my screen is blocking that. Let me close that. Yeah, so you can see the pointing even Sudoku. The rules are simple. Apart from classic rules, clues outside the grid correspond to the number of even digits in the diagonal indicated by the arrow. So for example, for this 2 clue right here, it is pointing at 4 cells, and the number of even digits along that direction will have to be 2. So what happened during the round is I was confident. I love these kind of variants because it's always about identifying the parity and then going about the solve. But somehow, while considering clues together at the top, I miscounted something. I not miscounted exactly. I actually ignored one cell which was already part of the group of clues, and that really messed up my solve. I could not find the error, so I erased it, started again, still made the same error, again erased, and again I just stared at it to look where I was making the error. Last 15 minutes are always kind of panicky during an event, because if you get stuck or break some Sudoku, it can really ruin the round. But I was not panicking at this point. I had some time left and I knew I could do some stuff. So with about I think 13 minutes, I decided to stop the Sudoku because I wasn't finding my error. My brain had a mental block and I wasn't finding that error. So I thought that the Sudoku may even be broken because that confident I was in my solve. I vetted each digit, but I still made the same error. So I went to the little killer crop key pairs in about 13 minutes to go, with about 13 or 14 minutes, and I thought I should be able to do that. But it was so hard. It was very hard. It was one of those Sudokus where you have to really put some efforts and work your way through the Sudoku. This is that one, little killer crop key pairs, the IB one. So I got stuck in between with about I think 10 minutes to go. So I decided to take a guess, and there was a 1 pencil mark in row 1 column 1 and row 1 column 3, and there were 10 minutes to go. I decided to be safe and take a guess and see where it takes me. So I started with the guess at row 1 column 3, which ultimately is the right guess. But unfortunately, what happened during the solve, it broke, and the reason was because the grid size was very small. In fact, the complaint again I have against the round is because the grid size was too small. It really affected my solve. It was very difficult to see the pencil marks, and during the solve I broke. After guessing it rightly, I broke it. Now while I was solving, I didn't know that my guess was right. Of course you wouldn't know. So I just erased everything, again put a pencil mark at row 1 column 1, and it was going very, very well. And about at 65-70% of the solve over, I was about to finish the Sudoku, it broke again. And now there were only 4 minutes left on the clock. I was getting desperate now because this was 100 points at stake and I hadn't got any points for quite a while. 100 points at stake. I thought I should be able to get this. So, but the problem was I did not know if this guess, I had broken this guess or I had broken in the first guess. It was very difficult to know, or if I had made some total error. Because the grid size was very tiny, wasn't sure what to do exactly. And I just, somehow I assumed that my second guess has to be right. So again, I restarted with 4 minutes to go. Again, I went all the way, and this time it broke at a different point with about 1.5 minutes to go. I just uttered an obscenity and threw the paper down in frustration on the table because I knew there was no way I could finish this Sudoku. And that was about it. This round was very bad for me. I ultimately ended up with 340 points. Let me get you to the score now. So you can see that I scored 340 points here in round 2. Let me just, yeah, now it's visible, I guess. Not all the participants, yeah. So 340 points was my final score. Nityan did really well for his 485, and Prasanna again had a subpar show. Shouldn't say again, because classics is not his strength, and he did really well in his classics. Maybe next time he should think about fumbling at classics again, so that he does well at variants, because last year he really had a terrible classic round, but variants were absolutely amazing variants round. But this time he scored 440, and I was at 340, and I was feeling very down at this point because the round didn't go the way I wanted it to. So after round 2, we had a lunch break. So I had a half-hearted lunch. My mind was elsewhere, and I was thinking what I could have and what I could not have during round 2. Mind was totally elsewhere. Anyway, I finished my lunch, went to the competition hall, confident that I'll do well in round 3. So as I said before, round 3 was, let's just go back to the window and IB. Round 3 was based on a single activity. It's not like separate Sudokus. Of course, there are many grids, but where is it? Let me go here. Aim for the target. It's called aim for the target. If you finish a single grid, there were 9 classic grids. If you finish a single grid, you get 200 points, and for every other grid, you get every next 4 grid you get 75 points, and for the next 4 grids you get plus 50 points, for a total of 700 points. So I'll just show you how it looks like. So this is an example with a 6x6 grid. You can see there are 6 classic grids here, but in the round there were 9 9x9 grids. So exactly what happened is, my face is appearing now. Okay. So there was a central grid, and around that there were 8 classic grids. There were exactly a 9x9 grid in the center, and the middle box of that center grid was shaded. This was the target grid. So what the contestant or the participant has to do is correspond each of the other 8 boxes of the central grid, also called the target grid, to one of the 8 grids around the central grid. So now each box corresponds to a different grid. For example, if let's take box 1 of the center grid, that box 1 will go to box 1 of any of the 8 other grids. We do not know which one. Similarly, box 2 will go to any of the other 8 grids, not the same as the one which you put the box 1. So similarly, you will get 8 different boxes to 8 different grids. So that's what the round is about. The thing is, it's more or less a break or make round. If you make a single error anywhere, it's very difficult to fix it. If it's minor and within the grid, then it's fine. You can erase the grid and restart it, and that's what happened to me. Fortunately, it was minor. What happened was I broke grid 7, and I had really panicky moments because I wasn't sure if that error was because of the improper matching or because of incorrect solve within the grid. Fortunately, it was the latter, and I erased it completely. In fact, I used a correction tape, so I should say corrected it completely, and I resolved it and finished the grid. Ultimately, I finished the round with 4-minute bonus, which is quite a good time. So before the round started, you can see that this round was 70 minutes and 700 points. So before this round started, I was wondering if 70 minutes is a really long time for 9x9 grids, but boy, I was wrong or what. This was really engrossing throughout the duration of the round, and it took me 66 minutes to complete the round, and this was properly designed and properly timed too. If it had been anywhere short with 50-40 minutes or something, this round would have been a terrible waste, but 70 minutes was really perfect duration for the round. I also congratulate Hemant, who was sitting ahead of me and who also finished at around the same time, just turned the paper in a few seconds after I completed. Let me show you the results page. So you can see round 3, I topped with 740 points along with Hemant, who also finished right after me. He was sitting ahead of me, and then he turned the paper right after me. And then Nityant, who continued his consistently good run, he turned in the paper with 1 minute to go and got 10 points bonus. And the talking point of the round was Prasanna's performance, you can say, because I asked him what went wrong. He actually told me that he had 5 grids correct, and he erased 2 of the correct grids due to an error which he made right at the start of the round, and that was really a silly error, guys, with no way to fix it. So as I said, it's a make or break round, so this is what happened to him. He broke this grid terribly. What happened right at the start when we are solving the individual grids without doing the matching thing, there was an 8 he was supposed to put between 2 cells, right, for to denote that it can be in one of those 2 cells. But unfortunately what he did, he put 8 as a digit in one of the cells, right? This is the thing that happened, if I'm not wrong, and that really came back to haunt him. This happened right at the start, so he could not fix it, unfortunately. And when he was solving correctly, this digit was creating some issues with the matching too, and so he assumed that he did the matching part incorrectly and had to erase 2 of the grids. So I really feel sorry for him, because if you don't do well in this round, then you can fall short of the lead by easily 300 points. As you can see, he fell short of me by 390 points, which is huge, which is almost round. So this was really bad round for him, but he told me that fortunately for him, it happened on the national championship and not at a World Sudoku Championship, where it can affect not only your performance but also your team's performance. So anyway, bad luck for him. So 2 other things to mention were Harsh and Karthik's performance in this round. Both of them finished 1 grid short, and that is really a good show. And also young Puvar did really well for his 600 points, and Amit, who was having an okay round so far, impressed by finishing this round just in the last minute. No bonus, so 700 points. Really good show from him. Kudos. So let's move on to round 4 now. I'll just open the IB. Yeah, round 4 was the unusual. Now there are 2 things I want to share with respect to this round. One is really ironical. The other is the reason for naming this round as unusual. Now at the start, I said that one of the contestants asked in the Discord, why was it named unusual? Because all the variants you can see, they are not really, unfamiliar or unusual variants. They are usually in competitions. Anti-Knight, Renbun, Thermo, Arrow, most at least would be in competitions. So the reason for is, on each paper there were 2 grids, Arrow, Thermo, Renbun, German Whispers, Anti-Knight self-joint, some frame exams. And the thing is that the Sudoku was designed in such a way that the given clues in both the grids on a single page were exactly the same and at the exact same locations. And that is probably why, in fact, that is the reason why it's termed unusual. What a really well-designed round. Beautiful, beautiful idea. I, of course, caught something through the corner of my eye, but I wasn't paying attention. Only after the round finished, I was told that this is the theme of the round, and I was really impressed. It was such a beautiful round by all the authors. I will make a note of I'll show you all the authors who contributed to this event at the end of the video, because right now in the middle, they really did an excellent job, guys. Without them, this event would not have been a success, and they really contributed excellent Sudokus for the event, and we are extremely thankful to them. And now about this round. So after doing round 3 well, I was quietly confident that I will be topping ISC, because Prasanna had a really bad show and Nityant was always catching up because of his base score. So all I needed to do was hold fort and not really fall behind, and do some have a really strong and solid show, and I thought I'll be able to hold on to rank 1 Indian Sudoku Championship. So I started out well in this round. I tackled the higher pointers. 3 is a crowd. I went for the 3 is a crowd. I did the Thermo, I did the Arrow, I did the Renbun, I did the Anti-Knight, I did Exams, and I did the slot machine, and I did the first 5. So if you count all those, I would have ended up with 515 points, 15 points. But unfortunately, one of the Sudoku grids had an error, and that was to happen in the highest pointer, 85 pointer. 3 is a crowd Sudoku. Now I'll tell you what is the ironic thing that I wanted to share you in this. Let me go to the grid. Okay, so this is the 3 is the crowd Sudoku. Is it visible, guys? Yeah, let me get it a little bigger. Yeah, it's fine now. So in this Sudoku, apart from classic rules, you have 3 clues on top of each column, at the bottom of each column, at the left of each row, and at the right of each row. There will be 3 clues. Now, exactly 1 clue out of this, every set of 3 clues will be incorrect. Right? Exactly 1 clue will be incorrect and the rest 2 will be correct. And if you take a side as a whole, let's say you take the left side of the grid, all the liar clues will have to be different. You can see there are 9 sets of clues on each side, on the left, on the right, at the top, and at the bottom. 9 sets of 3 clues, right? So these liar clues on each side will have to be all different. So which means they have to be from 1 to 9. So if you, for example, find that one of the liar clues out of a set of 3 clues is 2, then 2 cannot be incorrect in any other set of 3 clues at this top. So these were the rules. So during the question and answer session at the start of the event, so let me show you the schedule as well. There is usually a Q&A session, you know, prior to any event, a Sudoku or puzzle or even World Championship, there will always be a Q&A session wherein the participants can ask any doubts. And during this Q&A session, I somehow correctly guessed that there may not be all sets of 3 clues given across columns, right? Because I remember seeing one such Sudoku in LMD portal, Logic Masters Germany portal, where all the sets of 3 clues were not given above the grid. So by that I mean, you can see that on top of each column here, there is a set of 3 clues, right? Now it may be the case that where above a column or above many columns, you may not have the 3 set of clues. So I asked Ashish, who was organizing the event, if the liar clues have to be still different, even if the 9 sets of clues were not given above the grid. And the answer I got was yes. So for example, if you have, let's say 5 sets of 3 clues given above the columns, and within those 5 liar clues, all still have to be different. It obviously cannot be 1 to 9, but they still have to be different. But somehow during the round when I was solving this, I forgot this part. Imagine thinking about it during the Q&A session and then forgetting it during the solve. I forgot the part where the liar clues have to be different and I was stuck in the Sudoku. So, but I had decided to guess at the start of this round because I wasn't, letting others catch on to me. So I just thought, let's not waste any time. And then I guessed, and fortunately it didn't break anywhere and I ended up with a valid solution. Valid solution in the sense by Sudoku it was valid. So after the round, I saw my score and I was shocked to see that I got 430. And a quick mental calculation told me that it must have been an 85 pointer. So I just got the paper after it was corrected, and I was checking my grid, and I could not find the error in 3 is a crowd. So I went to Ashish and I asked him, what is the error with this grid? He showed me the solution was different. I saw the solution was different. But I asked, what is the error with my grid? And he also took quite a hard look, and suddenly he found that at the top, 2 of the liar clues were same. So at that point, it struck me that the liar clues are all different. It also struck me that I had forgotten to use it during the round. It also struck me that I had asked the same query at the Q&A in the morning. Things do happen like this. So anyway, after this round, you can see I scored 430. Unfortunately, Prasanna, who told me that he had scored 575, also made a very silly error in the 3 is a crowd Sudoku. I saw his paper. It was 2 9s in row 5 C6 and row 6 C6. I think he had made 2 9s there instead of the correct digit. He had put 2 9s there and he just threw down 85 points down the drain. So instead of 575, he ended up with 490. And Nityan again did consistently well with 465 points. It was a really good day for him. So ultimately, you can see I ended up with 2311. Nityan was second at 2241, and Prasanna finished third, where he had an off day for sure, and he finished third in the Indian Sudoku Championship with 2128 points. The fourth, the Indian who would be making the team is probably Harsh or Karthik. So we are waiting for Harsh's confirmation, and if Harsh decides to participate, the Indian team will be Kishore, Nityan, Prasanna, and Harsh Potter. So it will usually be 4 guys in the A team for each country. So these will probably be India's top 4 making into the team. And if Harsh fails to come, then Karthik, the next in the list, will be invited. And if he comes, he will be making it into the team. So to conclude, it was such a nice round. And to be very frank, guys, I'm really being frank here. Even though I've won the Indian Sudoku Championship, I did not feel happy at all. The reason was because if you exclude the base scores, Nityan would have been the clear winner. I did that right after the event. If you do that, you will see that Nityan would have scored more than 1900 points, and I would probably somewhere around 1780 or something, and Prasanna will be close to 1550. So that part really didn't get me impressed, because I wanted to finish it clean and I didn't want to have the help of the base scores to take me to the top. So at the bottom of my heart, I feel that the deserved winner of the day was Nityanth. Really good show from him. I know he can do even better than this, but of course this was a really good show from Nityanth. And as for me, I have tremendous scope for improvement. I thought, for example, round 2 was no way near my best show. I should have at least bare minimum got above 400 points. That was not to be. And round 4 I had an error. Round 1 I had an error. So to sum up, I think I can improve at this, and I hope I can do it in the World Championship. I'm really looking forward to the World Sudoku Championship, which is going to happen in Beijing. Just a second, guys, getting a phone. Just put it on silent, not now. So that was a really wonderful fun day event, especially the part where I'll just take a few more minutes and wind down this video. During the nights, we played board games. Many of our friends, we played board games. That is one of the most fun parts for me, apart from competing. I really enjoy the competing part as well, but the board games part is also next level, because that's where you can really have some nice time after the rounds conclude. Now, before I stop the video, I just want to thank the authors. Let's just have a quick look at them. Without the contribution of these authors, we would not have such a fun event. So LMI thanks the following puzzlers for their involvement in putting this competition together. Ashish, of course, was organizer. He was also author as well. Clover from the USA, you might know her from CTC Discord. Creates some amazing Sudokus, has her own Patreon page. Also, I think she does Twitch streams. Do check her out. She has the same name in the Discord, Clover. And James Peter Maverick from India, who did not participate this year, and he was the culprit who created a little killer Kropki pairs on a lighter note, and it was his Sudoku that messed my round 2 up, but it's just on a lighter note. He's a really good author and solver. Thanks, James, for contributing. And Sam Kappelman-Lentz, who created the pointing even Sudoku. So these are culprits in pair. So really nice Sudoku from Sam too. Excellent work. And St. Horizon from the Philippines. Again, a beautiful and good solver from the Philippines. I think he created the irregular Sudoku, if I'm not wrong, and probably a few other as well. Then Wessel Strijkstra from the Netherlands. Nice constructions, really hard Sudokus. Thank you for for contributing to the Indian Sudoku Championship. And for the testers as well, you can see Chiel Beanhacker, who goes by the name Bakpao on CTC. He has improved by leaps and bounds in puzzles, especially. He has improved by leaps and bounds. He has his own puzzle blog called Bakpao. I think not Bakpao, it's paspao.blogspot.com. So do check out his puzzle blog, a really good solver from the Netherlands. So let me, and then you have Tan Tan Dai, no words to say about her. Top solver, World Sudoku champion, really has taken her game to the next level. You know, Tan Tan, Teet and Kota are like really the holy trinity in Sudoku, so to speak. I saw this term in Tavan's blog. You can really call them the holy trinity of Sudoku. They are a class apart from the rest, but of late, Tan Tan seems to have taken her game even more than this class, and it's really difficult to catch up with her. She's doing extremely well, and I'm eager to see how she does in the upcoming World Championship. And then you have Teet Wang from Estonia, of course, another solver from the top 3. Absolute beast when it comes to classics and many other variants. Really good solver. And then Matteo Fedeli from Italy, an young solver who is also improving by leaps and bounds. So thank you to all these people. Hope you enjoyed this talk up. Do let me know your thoughts in comments, whether you would like me to do something differently from this, or this was perfect. Is there something more, some other aspect of the championship that you would like to see me talk about? Based on your feedback, guys, I'll think about doing an Indian Puzzle Championship, or I will ask Ashish to maybe do a talk up on the Indian Puzzle Championship. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you soon again. Take care and bye-bye.